Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. It is easier to fight a temptation than to fight the addiction. And this is valid for power. It is harder to give power away once you got it than to get it. Once you get the power, you get used to the feeling of having power, and it's hard to give it away, like an ice cream. Well, it's easier to fight the temptation of getting the ice cream. It's harder once you have it in your mouth and you start licking it a little bit. Some say, okay, now give it back. Not really. So that's harder. We have a situation here, an article, that is going to be using, I think, my mountain slope scenario, which is going like this. When they want to reach the top point where they're going to tell you what to do or how the things are going to be, they have to get you ready. So my model is mountain slope. They will start slowly to get you ready for the finale. They will say, okay, well, how about this? Maybe this is a problem. Maybe this, it's a problem. It's a big problem. In order to be a big problem, we have to solve it by doing this. But first they say, well, we might have to probably, people are discussing, they're meeting to do it, they did it, this is it, the final. So in this case, they are getting us ready for the new COVID, or maybe not necessarily COVID, for the next pandemics. Which is a good thing, because those guys in charge of us, they will protect us. They will protect us like mommy and daddy protected us when we are incapacitated like children. But some of us still need that mommy and daddy in order to be functioning. Well, some of us do not need that. Nevertheless, we have to obey what mommy and daddy and their babies gonna make us do. So, as I said it before, there will be more and more and more pandemics and, this kind of mandates and edicts and whatever, however, emergency decrees. So this article comes from Yahoo News. Why? Because they already got it the first time. And they got away with that. The next one is going to be a little bit more and a little bit more. And everything for our good. I lived under a communist system. Those communists did what they did for our common good because we didn't know how to live our lives. We were just babies. Yahoo News. This is the beginning of the mountain slope, model. The next US COVID wave is coming. Why it will be, quote unquote, much weirder than before. Weirder. Now they use weirder, not going to say like more serious or deadlier. Now it's just at the beginning. It's coming, the next wave. They don't tell us yet what's going to be. They don't tell us here how are we going to solve it. They're just planting the seed because the fertile soil is there. A lot of fertile soil is there. And that proved from 2020 up till now, they are there. So this article, which is about, it came yesterday, October 13th, by Andrew Romano. He says it's 9 minutes to read it. It's long for an article. And it's good, it's a good research article. I read it, it gives you all kind of terms, talks about virology, virologists, pharmaceutical drugs, things like that. It's good. It's very informative. For a regular person like us, you might get lost and say, what the hell is that? What is that about? Anyway, this article was not to inform us about that. It was to make a point. Get ready, because that's going to happen. And get us ready for the finale. And the finale, I told you what it's going to be. The decrease. Now we have here, I'm going to go over a few points that I think are worth mentioning. I mean, you can read it, obviously, and it tells us all kind of B1, B2, XBB, BQ11, so they get you lost and get legitimacy. So this is like, oh my God, they're talking about things that we don't know. We're babies. We don't understand shit. We might not understand the drugs or how the chemistry because we're not educated in that field, but we understand when we see a, you know what I mean, right? Or a tyrant. So here we have, for instance, it says that, I want to give you two reasons why they say it's going to be a different pandemic. So they give us two reasons why the new variants are more concerning. And they say this is troubling for two reasons. The first is that the most vulnerable among us, the immunocompromised and the elderly, tend not to produce as strong or as lasting an antibody response after infection or vaccination. Yes, there is such a group over there. And then they will provide the second. It says that leads us to the second cause for concern, increased spread. So these variants are going to spread, and it says increase. We're going to be more, jumping from one person to another. And then it goes to the pinnacle. This is the conclusion, I would say, or the little thing that will try to make us understand out of the new pandemic. And this is it. It says, for most US residents, the new escape variants will be more of an inconvenience than a threat this winter. So don't worry for now. But even now, before they hit, nearly 400, mostly older Americans, are still dying of COVID each day. Now, if you put the 400 in the context of a community, yes. If you put it in the context of a country, let's see. And they give us the number. That's almost, of the 400, Americans are still dying of COVID every day, each day. Yeah, some do. Let's see how many. And they say that's almost 150,000 annually. Wow, if you just take it as 150,000 annually, that's a lot. But let's put it in the context. What is the US population? The US population is about what? 340 million, about 335, something like that, million. And a year, 150,000, mostly, they die of this. How many die of car accidents? How many die of... I'm not trying to justify this. I'm just trying to show that this guy here, with his next sentence, will try to create a panic, little by little. And his next sentence is this. So it says, that's almost 150,000 annually. About 3 times the death count of a bad flu year. Okay? It's still 150 out of 340 million. Just do that a little bit in proportion and see how much it is. And then he says, this is the question of this guy. How much death are we willing to normalize? And how much more should we tolerate this winter? So what do you think is that? So he says, this is not normal. How much more? So how much longer are we going to tolerate it? We got to do something. And that's going to be the next step. And the next step is going to be this. And they're going to provide us with the information and what we need to do. Because mommy and daddy will tell us what to do. They're going to keep us safe. Okay? All right. So please calculate 150,000 that die. See for how many people die of regular United States. And what's the natality. See how many are born. And see 150. And compare that with many other illnesses. They say, oh, it's a bad flu. It's what? 3 times more? Right. So I think this is just the beginning of the finale. We'll see what the mommy and daddy will decide we should do, and what they decide us not to do anymore. Probably just stay at home, order online, that's consuming. Don't go to work. Go to work whatever they give us. And don't do anything but consume, watch TV, get fatter and sicker, I guess, because if you don't, you're not able to live a normal life going outside and all this. And besides, go and get a lot of oxygen for your brain. That's very, very good. Very good. Okay? That's just the beginning. I'm going to keep an eye on this for you and for us. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.